What are the Halls of Amenti? Far beneath the surface of the earth, beyond the reach of ordinary humanity, lies a place untouched by the passing of civilizations. Or so the story tells us. It is described as older than the kingdoms of recorded history, older than the temples of Egypt, older even than the civilization from which its narrator claims to have come. Within its chambers, mysterious beings preserve the balance between life and death. Bodies lie motionless without truly dying. Souls descend into darkness before returning to the world alone. And at the center of it all burns a flame not associated with merely light, but with consciousness, life, and cosmic order. This place is called the Halls of Amenti. For some readers, the halls are a literal subterranean sanctuary, a surviving structure from Atlantis, concealed beneath Egypt and governed by beings who transcend ordinary human existence. For others, they are symbolic, an inner realm representing death, initiation, the unconscious mind, or the seeker's passage into higher knowledge. Still others regard the entire account as a work of 20th century esoteric mythology, an imaginative spiritual narrative dressed in the language of ancient Egypt, Atlantis, and Hermetic wisdom. These interpretations are not identical. They should not be blurred together. Before deciding what the halls mean, we must first establish exactly what we are studying. What does the text actually describe? Where did the story come from? How are the halls connected to Thoth, death, rebirth, wisdom, and the mysterious beings who dwell within them? And most importantly, what are the Halls of Amenti? Our investigation begins with an essential distinction. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean is not the same work as the classical Emerald Tablet, sometimes called the Tabula Smaragdina. The classical Emerald Tablet is a brief Hermetic text known through medieval Arabic and later Latin traditions. It became influential in the history of alchemy and associated with the legendary figure Hermes Trismegistus. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, by contrast, is a much longer modern esoteric work associated with the American occultist Maurice Doreal. That difference is fundamental. The work we are investigating presents itself as a translation of ancient tablets written by Thoth, portrayed not simply as an Egyptian deity, but as an Atlantean priest-king who survived the destruction of Atlantis and later established a colony in Egypt. Doreal claimed that the tablets were ancient physical objects that he had been authorized to recover and translate them. However, no independently authenticated tablets, ancient manuscript tradition, archaeological discovery record, or decipherable original language has been made available for scholarly examination. The work entered circulation through Doreal and the Brotherhood of the White Temple, the esoteric organization in which he was associated. Archival collections confirm that the Brotherhood distributed numerous pamphlets on occult subjects during the 20th century. Therefore, the historically responsible starting point is this. The Halls of Amenti are securely documented as a central location within the 20th century esoteric text. Whether they describe an external place, an interior spiritual reality, a literary construction, or some combination of these is a separate interpretive question. Throughout this video, we will neither present Doreal's historical claims as established archaeology nor dismiss the text before examining what it attempts to communicate. We will begin with the source, then we will examine the evidence, then we will consider the interpretation. Within the internal narrative of the Emerald Tablets, the Halls of Amenti are presented as a real and extraordinary place. The work speaks of them as existing far beneath the earth, and one frequently reproduced line, Thoth declares, far beneath the earth's crust in the Halls of Amenti. The language is physical. Thoth does not initially describe the halls merely as an emotion, a metaphor, or an abstract philosophical principle. He describes traveling to them, entering them, encountering beings within them, receiving knowledge, and emerging changed. Inside the story, the halls possess geography, inhabitants, structures, functions, and laws. They are therefore more than a passing symbol. They are an entire mythic environment. But what kind of environment? The halls appear to combine at least 5 major functions. They are a subterranean sanctuary. They are a realm connected with death and continued life. They are a place of preservation. They are a center of initiation and transformation. And they are a cosmic institution governed by beings associated with order beyond ordinary humanity. To understand the halls, we must examine each of these functions separately. The halls as a subterranean sanctuary. The first and most immediate description is spatial. The halls are said to exist beneath the surface of the earth. This places them within a long tradition of imagined underground sacred worlds, caverns of initiation, hidden temples, realms of the dead, chambers of forgotten knowledge, and inner earth sanctuaries. But we must be careful. The existence of similar descriptions elsewhere does not prove that all such traditions share a common source, nor does it prove that Doriel's halls came from any one specific ancient teaching. Our immediate concern is what the subterranean setting accomplishes within this particular narrative. To descend beneath the earth is to leave the ordinary human world. The surface is the realm of cities, nations, conflict, aging, and historical change. The world below is presented differently. It is secluded, stable, protected, separated from the rise and fall of civilizations. That separation gives the halls their first major symbolic power. Whatever is preserved, there is placed beyond ordinary history. Kingdoms may rise, continents may sink, cultures may forget, but the halls remain. In this sense, the underground setting is not merely mysterious scenery. It serves the story's larger concern with continuity. The halls exist where the surface world cannot easily destroy them. The halls and the mystery of death. The second defining feature of Amenti is its relationship to death. Within Doriel's narrative, the halls are inhabited by beings whose existence does not follow ordinary human biological limits. The text describes bodies resting in a state that appears suspended between life and death. It presents Thoth as gaining a degree of freedom from ordinary mortality after his experiences there. The halls therefore function partly as a threshold. They are not simply the land of the living, but neither are they presented as a final grave. Instead, they occupy a boundary between conditions of existence. This is one reason modern readers often compare Amenti with underworlds, afterlife realms, initiation chambers, or states of consciousness beyond the body. The language of the text repeatedly weakens the ordinary boundary between life and death. Death is presented less as total extinction and more as a transition, condition, cycle, or veil. That does not yet tell us whether the author intended the halls literally or as an allegory. But it tells us what philosophical problem the halls address. They ask, what if death is not the end of consciousness? What if life can exist in forms that ordinary humanity does not recognize? What if the boundary between the living and the dead is not as permanent as it appears? The halls become the narrative location in which these questions can be explored. The halls as a place of preservation. The third function of Amenti is preservation. The world described by the Emerald Tablets is shaped by catastrophe. Atlantis falls. Civilizations disappear. Knowledge is lost. Humanity repeatedly moves between illumination and ignorance. Against this background, the halls serve as a form of continuity. They preserve beings. They preserve order. They preserve knowledge. And perhaps most importantly, They preserve the possibility that wisdom can return after an age of darkness. This is why describing the halls as merely a tomb would be inadequate. A tomb preserves what has ended. The halls preserve what may become active again. Within the text, preservation is not passive storage. It is preparation for future renewal. This theme is visible in the portrayal of Thoth himself. He is not simply a visitor collecting secrets for personal possession. He becomes part of a chain of transmission. He receives knowledge, carries it into the human world, records it, conceals portions of it, and directs future seekers towards it. Amenti is therefore less like a museum and more like a reservoir. Its contents are not meaningless relics. They are held in readiness. The halls as a place of initiation. The fourth function is transformation. The halls are not presented as a tourist destination. Thoth does not enter, look around, and leave unchanged. His descent is associated with encounter, revelation, testing, authority, and altered relation to life and death. This gives the halls the structure of an initiatory environment. Initiation, in its broadest sense, marks a transition from one condition into another. The uninitiated person stands outside a body of knowledge or mode of existence. The initiate crosses a threshold, undergoes an experience, and returns with a changed identity or responsibility. That pattern is central to the narrative of Amenti. The seeker approaches a hidden realm. The seeker confronts mysteries unavailable to ordinary perception. The seeker encounters higher or older beings. The seeker receives knowledge, and the seeker's relationship to the world is transformed. This does not mean that the work supplies a historically verifiable initiation ritual. It does not. Nor should readers manufacture practical rites and then attribute them to the text. What the work supplies is an initiatory story. The halls give narrative form to the belief that wisdom requires more than just intellectual curiosity. One must descend, one must confront, one must change. The halls as a cosmic institution. The fifth function may be the most difficult to define. Amenti is not governed like an ordinary human kingdom. Its inhabitants include exalted figures commonly referred to as the Lords of Amenti. These beings are associated with cosmic administration, cycles, life, death, and the maintenance of order. This makes the halls more than a secret temple. They function as an institution woven into the structure of the universe described by the text. Their authority does not appear to come from human law. Their role is not political. They do not govern Egypt, Atlantis, or another surface nation through conventional institutions. Instead, they oversee processes more fundamental than government. Life, death, return, balance, consciousness, cosmic cycles. Within the story, the halls are therefore a place and a mechanism of order. They are where certain laws of existence become visible. Make no mistake, my friends, the seven lords will require their own extensive investigation. For now, it is enough to recognize that their presence changes the scale of Amenti. The halls are not merely Thoth's private sanctuary. They belong to a larger cosmic hierarchy. What does Amenti mean? The name itself invites comparison with ancient Egypt. Words related to the Egyptian West, often rendered through forms such as Amitet or Imentet, were associated with the direction of the sunset and with the realm of the dead. The western horizon carried funerary significance because the setting sun could symbolize descent into the unseen world before renewal. However, Dorio's Halls of Amenti should not simply be treated as an authentic ancient Egyptian doctrine under another name. His narrative expands the idea into a distinctly modern esoteric cosmology involving Atlantis, hidden masters, extraordinary longevity, subterranean chambers, cosmic beings, and an initiatory system. Ancient Egyptian religion possesses rich and varied ideas about death, judgment, the duat, divine beings, the continued existence of the soul, and blessed life after death. Doriel draws on Egyptian-sounding language and imagery, but his system is not interchangeable with those ancient traditions. This distinction protects both subjects from distortion. We should not rewrite ancient Egyptian religion to make it conform to Doriel, and we should not pretend that Doriel's narrative can only be understood by collapsing it into ancient Egyptian beliefs. The Halls of Amenti belong first to the world of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean. Later on, we will compare that world with Egyptian concepts carefully, identifying both similarities and major differences. So be on the lookout for that, you guys. Having established what the halls do within the narrative, we can now identify three broad approaches to the interpretation. The literal reading. The literal reading accepts the halls as an actual place within the reality described by the text. Under this interpretation, Amenti exists beneath the earth. Thoth physically entered it. The beings within it are real. Its relationship to life, death, and longevity reflects unknown natural or spiritual laws. Some believers may further connect the halls with Atlantis, hidden civilizations, underground complexes, non-human intelligence, or technologies unknown to modern society. The primary strength of this reading is that it takes the narrative's physical language seriously. Its central weakness, at least for now, is physical evidence. No independently authenticated location, artifact, tablet, inscription, or archaeological body of evidence currently establishes the halls as a physical site. The claim, therefore, rests primarily on acceptance of Doriel's account. And next, my friends, we have the symbolic reading. The symbolic reading treats the halls as an image of inward transformation. The descent beneath the earth becomes a descent beneath ordinary consciousness. The resting bodies represent dormant capacities, ancestral memory, or suspended states of awareness. The lowest represent higher principles, archetypal forces, or forms of perfected intelligence. The flame represents consciousness, divine life, or awakened understanding. Under this interpretation, the halls need not to exist geographically to carry meaning. Their importance lies in the psychological and philosophical journey they dramatize. The strength of this reading is that it accounts for the heavily symbolic and poetic character of the work. Its limitation is that it may understate how concretely the text presents events within its own narrative. And then we have the third approach, the literary historical reading. And this approach examines the halls as part of a modern esoteric mythology. Here, the central question is not whether the halls physically exist or what they symbolize spiritually. It is how Maurice Doriel constructed an influential 20th century sacred narrative using themes associated with Atlantis, Egyptian religion, Hermeticism, Theosophy, hidden masters, subterranean worlds, initiation, and cosmic evolution. This approach treats the halls as an artifact of modern religious and esoteric imagination. Its strength is historical grounding. Its limitation is that historical explanation alone may not exhaust the philosophical or spiritual significance readers find in the work. These three approaches do not have to be treated as equally established factual claims, nor must every reader choose only one. A person may recognize the modern origin of the published work while still exploring its symbolism. Another may believe that Doriel transmitted genuine knowledge despite the absence of independently verifiable artifacts. Another may study the work purely as literature. Our purpose is not to erase those differences. It is to name them honestly. So what are the Halls of Amenti? The most responsible answer contains multiple layers. Within the source text, they are in an ancient subterranean sanctuary associated with Thoth, the lords of Amenti, suspended life and death, rebirth, preserved knowledge, initiation, and cosmic order. Historically, they are documented through Maurice Doriel's 20th century esoteric work rather than through an authenticated ancient Egyptian or Atlantean manuscript tradition. Symbolically, they can be read as a realm of inner descent and transformation, the place where the seeker confronts mortality, ignorance, hidden consciousness, and the responsibilities attached to wisdom. Literarily, they are the central mythic setting through which the work unites its major concerns. Without Amenti, the narrative loses its deepest architecture. Thoth's authority becomes harder to explain. The seven lords lose their domain. The teachings on life and death lose their central stage. The seeker's descent loses its destination. The work's hidden knowledge loses its repository. The halls are therefore not merely one subject among many. They are the organizing center of Dorio's esoteric universe. They connect the ancient past to the imagined future. They connect death to continued life. They connect concealed wisdom to human transformation. They connect Thoth, the traveler, to Thoth, the teacher. And they connect the mystery of hidden place with the deeper question of whether human beings are prepared to encounter what it contains. And perhaps that is why the halls continue to fascinate readers. They combine several of humanity's oldest longings. The longing to discover that death is not final. The longing to believe that lost wisdom has survived. The longing to find a place untouched by corruption and time. The longing to meet teachers who understand realities hidden from ordinary perception. And the longing to cross a threshold after which life can never again be understood in quite the same way. Whether the halls are viewed as literal, symbolic, literary, or some combination of these, they represent a refusal to accept the visible world as the whole of reality. But establishing what the halls are creates a new problem. A place can be described without being located. A symbol can be interpreted without being mapped. And a story can speak of descent without telling us exactly where the journey leads. So our investigation must continue. All right, everybody. If you made it to the end of this, thank you so much. To all the people that has been sticking with me since, I want to say almost a decade now. Thank you. Be on the lookout, you guys. More videos are coming soon. We are back. This is Articles of Reality. Peace and love.